Hey everyone, it's Sunday, so that means it's time for a Devo and an update. Uh, Thank you so much for everyone who's been doing the streak challenge. We've been reading the Bible through Proverbs. I love this. The last like chapters of Proverbs to the end of the month, just because it's just got bite-sized pieces of information and wisdom that you can just take a hold of, right? Like 2, 3 verses, and just be like, man, how can I apply this? This is good stuff. And it's just why I'm so excited we're reading through it together, and it's a way that we can foster community. And I'm reading it, and I'm thinking about you guys reading it, and it's just a cool thing to do together. And so thank you so much for those who've been a part of that. Remember, today, since it is the 14th, we are in chapter 15 because we started the challenge one day early. It was our last day of last month. So in chapter 15, there's so many great verses, but I think really the one that spoke to me was verse 28. The heart of the godly thinks carefully before speaking. The mouth of the wicked overflows with evil words. It goes on. There are a few others I really like. See, if, like starting 31, if you listen to constructive criticism, you will be at home among the wise. If you reject discipline, you only harm yourself. But if you listen to correction, you grow in understanding. Fear of the Lord teaches wisdom. Humility precedes honor. Such great stuff. But that first one really hit me. The heart of the godly thinks carefully before speaking, and that's really goes along with what we've been talking about in our More Than a Hashtag series. We've been talking about, Micah 6:8 is the verse or key verse for it. What does the Lord demand of you? Well, it's to do what is right, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. That's what Micah 6:8 is, and that's what we've been talking about. Right, and we've been talking about that those first action steps, and the first action step that we talked about was listening. And last week, this past Wednesday, we talked about loving mercy, and we've been having great conversations. We've been actually watching videos of people having conversations about a lot of the stuff happening right now in different viewpoints, and because the reality is like I said last week. You don't know what you don't know. I think a lot of us, like that personal experience is so strong. It's real easy to believe that just because I have never personally experienced something means things don't happen. And so we've been talking about that and kind of like broadening our spectrum of the world at large and things going on, and having great conversations about what can we really do. What does the Bible call us to do? What is Jesus' example in situations where people are hurting, or there is division that arises, or people want to be heard? Like, how does Jesus respond to those things? How does he treat people, right? And so we just had a great conversation last week about how hard it is to listen sometimes, right? When we and so many people now, right? I've been listening and reading, and I think as many of us have, and trying to understand all the different sides and facets of things going on in our world right now, and so many people want to be heard, but we can be really bad at listening and having conversations and opening up those dialogues. And so last week we talked about some ways that we could just kind of naturally shut those things down, and things that God calls us to do to listen and be empathetic to people, and try to hear people's stories, and how to through the lens of the Bible, like how do we respond? How do we treat people? The complexity of things that happen, right? When we face injustice, what do we do? Because God calls out things in the Bible. Jesus calls out things, right? And he calls our attention to them in many different areas of society that are happening with different peoples. And so it's just, that's been a great conversation, and it just made me think of this. this verse in particular, when I read it, it just kind of spoke to me. The heart of the God thinks carefully before speaking, because with such history of so many things and such a complicated issue, and because it involves a lot of people, we need to think, we need to pray, we need to seek God's guidance, right? Instead of just immediately like blurting out the first thing we feel, and seek his guidance and wisdom on those things. So that is the devotion for today. Think about, remember, the first action step we're talking about is learning this, digging into this. Some of the things that we're learning in here, we're also carrying over into the More Than a Hashtag series. Like any bits and pieces we're picking out of the wisdom of Solomon, and how to interact and listen and talk to people, and how to affect change in our community, how to affect change on a broader scope, especially such strange days, where where COVID-19 is still happening and it is a very real reality, and affecting many people, and like how do we affect change? How do we speak out? How do we do these things while caring for others? So definitely join us for that, and I hope you do. And so just listen to God, take time, make time every day. I promise it is worth it. It is well worth it. So moving forward, things going on this week. Tuesday, right? Tuesday we have Fortnite from 6:30 to 8:30. Let me know if you don't have my Epic account name. Yeah, I forgot it for a second. And then Wednesday from 6 to 7:30, we are going to be doing we'll be talking about the More Than Hashtag series. We'll be opening up conversations. We've got lots of stories. We're reading people's stories and things like that, and then talking about the Bible and just trying to like listen better and see how God directs us to affect real change in the community and have conversations about these things in ways that maybe we haven't thought about them before, which is awesome. And then on Thursday we have game day or our game hangout from 2:30 to 4:30. That's always a lot of fun. Thank you so much to those of you who've been coming. It's just a time to chill out. I don't know if you've been feeling lonely or disconnected or what's going on, or if you're just like, man, I'm bored. If you're just bored, come hang out with us, have a great time, play games, see people who care about you, miss you. If you haven't been a part of those things, we miss you. Be part of it. It's just remember that we are here. We're praying for you. We love you guys, and we miss you so much. And just let us know whatever we can do. And if there's any ways I'm going to be praying for you, or ways that like just things that you've seen God do that you're excited about. We want to rejoice with you, and we want to be excited about those things with you as well. So we'll see you Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday. See you sometime this week, hopefully.